Good morning. Welcome to The Wandering Drew. I am Drew. Thanks for joining me. Today I'm back out at Cedar Point National Park Service property here at the south end of Black Hammock Island. And I'm going to do a trail similar to the one I've done before, but different. And this is part of the Seven Creeks recreation area. And I'm doing a series of hikes in this area. If you don't know what I'm doing and why, go back and see my other video, part of this series, and it'll explain to you what I'm doing. Anyway, it's a Sunday morning. It's kind of dreary now. It's been raining off and on, but the rain's kind of tapered. The wind's picking up. The temperature is getting cooler. It's in the probably mid to low 60s right now, but it's perfect weather for me for hiking, I feel. And I'm gonna go for a walk in the woods, so I hope you'll join me. And I'm not entirely sure where this trail goes. So I'm going to be doing the loop here, like I did before, the blue loop. This is supposed to be the bridge trail, so I believe I'm going to go over this bridge. At least that's what I'm going to plan on doing. Go over this bridge, maybe do this. This is, I believe, the Marsh Loop, and I'm going to come back. So that's the plan. The log says do the blue, red, and Marsh Loop. So I'm kind of extrapolating from the map where I'm going. A little further along, you come to this little loop that takes you on this kind of spit of land. It's like a little peninsula, and then you loop back around and you go back into more of a woods area. But this place is absolutely gorgeous. This would be a lovely place for a campsite or a house even, although you're kind of out here, you know, but you'd have a beautiful view. And I'm kind of rising up a little bit. You can tell it's on the upslope here, so the trees are saying you got more pine, oak. Love this Spanish moss. A little bit of water coming down. Hopefully it's just from the wind. And I remember this place. It was kind of strange because I'm looking forward and there's a pole up ahead that I could see. And it looks like there's a conduit next to it, so it took my attention because I'm like, that looks like a power line or a phone line and wire, which I wouldn't expect to see back here. But then you realize that there have been residences here, you know, up until probably 20 years ago on this property. So it does make sense that there is electric lines and power poles and things like that. You can hear that wind. I'm hoping that's wind and not rain. Here we are where it tees off. I'm gonna go to the left. Wind picking up. Feels good right now. How's this for some weather, huh? See all the leaves coming down behind me. The wind's a little bit strong, you can hear it, but no rain so far again. So I'm gonna keep with it. I should be coming up to the red trail very shortly, and we'll go from there. Okay, a little further along, I've done 3/4 of a mile. It's raining now though. The wind is still going and it's raining, but it's pretty light. Just got a little misting. It's coming down a little too heavy just to be dripping off the trees. Other than that, still going on. You can definitely feel the temperature. I feel it dropped. It's a little cooler to me. Not so cold yet that I want to put a jacket on yet. But it's definitely, if I get wet, I'm going to need to put a jacket on. I did leave my rain jacket in the car. I gambled. I think I'll be okay. I do have a windbreaker and a fleece. So I have choices. Proper planning. Very important. You're coming out here. You need to plan. Obviously the weather was predicted to be rainy, chilly, and windy. So you got to plan for that. Coming up to the information board where the red trail starts. And we're going to go off to the right to take hopefully that trail to the bridge. I'm supposed to be doing the bridge trail, but there is no description of a bridge trail here. No markers. It's combining the blue, red, and a Marsh Loop Trail. So I'm just going by my really experience and looking at a map and seeing, obviously I know where the blue trail is here, and the red trail is coming up. You can see the information board and the red marker right past it. It's kind of hard to see now, showing you where we are. So we're here. We started here. We did the blue trail here. We're going to do off on the red trail, and I believe this first one goes across a bridge into the Cedar Point Preserve. So you leave the national park. So we're going to do that. This also coincides with the Seven Creeks Trail, which I'm hoping to do in the future. And here's the marker. So, and I come to this area here. It's a little open, definitely a little windy. And they're showing the change in the area here. This is more probably pines, and it is raining. The rain is coming down. I'm coming up, I got 9/10 of a mile, so I have quite a distance to go to get back here. But we'll see. We're going to keep going. It didn't plan for rain because they said it should stop. It's about 9:40 in the morning, but it is what it is. I don't mind hiking in the rain. I actually like it sometimes. And literally just past that kiosk is the bridge trail, what I'm calling it, because it does have a bridge on it, and it shows you that's where I'm going. A little further along, still a nice wide trail. It seems to be climbing up. So you got more pines here. The gone are the wetlands area. Here's the first marker I've seen in a while. Across the way I can actually see a sign too on the other side of the creek. So that may be the continuation of the trail system. I'm not sure. Anyway, this is the way we're going to go. Nice open area. So you get some light in here. Not, you're in full sun if it was sunny, which it's not. But the rain has stopped, which I'm glad for. But so far, so good. Still a nice trail. And I'm assuming the bridge should be here, and we're going to cross that creek that we just saw before this little turn. Another information board, which is always nice to see. Oh, very nice bridge with an overlook. We're going to be heading over it, and we are following the Seven Creeks Trail. It's not a great day, but it's a good day for me for hiking. So. Hear that wind picking up. You can see the road in the distance with cars. Yeah, hear that wind. You can see there's a little, I wouldn't say it's a pavilion, maybe just a little area to rest, and it's got a shade over it. We're gonna keep going. There's been some maintenance here. They replaced some wood. But you can see here the creek flowing out to estuary area. I'm assuming as the tide comes in, you can see it must fill up a little bit. I have no idea what the tide state is. I have not looked. There's the little lone bird hanging out, looking for his food, I'm assuming. We're going to go, and hopefully there's a sign here as well, and we'll figure out what trail we're going to take. If not, we're going to walk somewhere. So we didn't come all this way for no reason. And here we are at the Cedar Point Preserve. So we've crossed over the creek now. So I think I'm going to go up to the intersection, come back, and maybe we'll take the Bird Pond Trail on the way back. We'll see. And I remember, well, I was not at this specific area, but in this park, and once again, trails are very well marked. So, and you can see right here, you can see the sign. It tells you you're on. This is the main trail, Seven Creeks Trail, and to the exit if you came in we have to go back, but we're going to take this up toward that direction because we want to get to the Marsh Loop. So just for information, I'm about 1.4 miles from where I started at the trailhead. You can see I'm still on the trails. It's well marked. It's a little closed in here, not quite so open, and I'm a little more protected from that wind than I was out there. So it feels a little better, and it's not quite as noisy. So I'm a little further along, and you can see the sign here, markings telling you this is the Bird Pond Trail. I'm going to continue going on the main trail until I reach the Marsh Loop. I'm a little further along. I'm still on the main trail, which coincides, is co-located with the Seven Creeks Trail. But here is the Marsh Loop. I'm going to take this down and come back, and then we'll head to the trailhead. There are other trails here, though. Obviously, I can continue on the main trail. There's the Bobcat Trail, and there's also a side spur trail going off to the right as well. So this is the Marsh Loop, and we meet the portion where it's a loop. So I'm going to go to the left first, and we'll come back on the right, and then we'll head back. So I don't know how long this loop is. It looks pretty significant on the map when I saw it, but I don't remember it entirely. But you know, it can't be that long. One of the things that always shocks me sometimes, like when you're looking at a map, obviously the scale matters, but sometimes it doesn't seem quite as far when you're walking. Like you think it's going to be a while, and you come upon the landmarks or the intersections much faster than you kind of thought they would be. So it is pretty amazing once you start hiking how much ground you do cover in a day. Like even on a long distance trail, distances seem far, and it sounds such a long distance, but once you start walking and you make it like from one place to another. I mean, these are not great distances, but it's still not nothing to walk 3-4 miles, and you realize like you can do that like an hour and a half. I mean, obviously I wouldn't want to be doing that all the time, but it's like eating an elephant, right? One bite at a time. Same thing, a long distance. I mean, even nowadays, like mentally, it's changed me in the sense I don't think like 10 miles is such a long distance anymore, or 12 miles, because I know I can walk that in a couple of hours, if need be, But anyway, it gives you a greater appreciation also for seeing the world at a slower speed, 2 to 3 miles an hour as you walk. You definitely notice more and see more if you're not busy looking at your feet to make sure you don't trip, which is the problem when you're hiking. A lot of times that's all you see is, the ground in front of you, and you really don't look off to the sides as much and take in what you're seeing. But it's understandable because that's when you usually trip and fall. So you got to see where you're going. But there's, maybe sometimes you got to take a stop and look around. And I could definitely tell this part of the trail has a lot more, palm fronds and debris on it. It's clear enough. I mean, you can make by it. It's not a problem. But it definitely, I don't know if it's just with the recent weather. These have all come down, or maybe no one's done maintenance recently, trail maintenance. But it's easy. There's no issue. Just it's noticeable. Like all of a sudden, I noticed a lot of branches down and palm fronds, on the trail or off the side, just not cleaned up. And if you were doing trail maintenance, you would usually be, cleaning those up, tossing those, like you can see right here. There's just a lot of, branches and stuff down, but someone's been cutting them, it looks like. So maybe that was trail maintenance. They just leave them off to the side. You don't need that wide of a tract. That is one thing that you start when you're doing trail maintenance. Like, why do we need to do 8 feet wide? You only need 2 feet wide. People don't walk, all over. They should just be following the trail. So this is the Marsh Loop, which we have now come to the end. But I'm gonna take the Overlook Spur. So just for reference, I'm at 2.3 miles, but we're gonna take the Overlook Spur. I don't know how far it is, but I mean, what could it be? A tenth, maybe 2/10 of a mile. Still walking down the Overlook Spur off the Marsh Loop at the tip of it, and I see an open area coming. So I'm assuming I'm coming to the end of it. Wasn't that far, maybe 0.1. Little bench here, which is nice. And here is the overlook. I'm gonna keep walking just to get out in the open here. It's a nice overlook. You can see, that's the bridge I'm assuming I came over to to get here. Oh, maybe I think that's it actually. I don't know what that is. I'm gonna look. It's a little marshy here. I'm not gonna go too much further because I don't feel like getting wet. But I'll show you we'll take a panoramic view as I pan around and I'll figure out what I'm looking at. So by the map, I'm assuming this is looking back toward Jacksonville. That's Fort George Island over there. That's the area that is Fort Caroline, I guess, down there. I don't know how accurate, I'm not, but somewhere in that distance there. And then this is toward the St. John's and, you know, Jacksonville. So obviously I need to learn a little better areas, but that obviously I know is Jacksonville and the port area. I've seen that before. And that's the bridge that I came over in order to come here. So, and obviously it comes all the way around this area. So we're going to head back now. The plan is to go back to that main spur, the main trail, take it back to the bridge, which is the red trail, and then go back to the blue trail, and then make it back to the parking lot. And then that should be the end of this one. So it is now 10:20. I'm rounding up, and I've done 2.5 miles. So let's get going. I didn't want to go out any further because it's all wet over there. The marsh is full of water. I don't know if tide's coming in or tide's coming out. I guess probably should look at that in the future if I was coming to this trail and I wanted to walk out there a little bit more. Or, I mean, I have waterproof boots, but I don't want to test them, and I really don't feel like getting them all muddy. Okay, so we're gonna head back. I think we're gonna stay on the Marsh Trail just to be kind of purist. I'm not gonna take that side trail that went off. And on the way back, there's another overlook spur. I'm gonna take this one too. So we'll see what we see. It's getting a little muddy here. It looks like there's a bunch of trails going off to the left, the right, and the straight. I can see some deer prints here. So obviously this might be a game trail as well, but I'm just gonna head back to the trail. Maybe another day if it was drier, but this looks all muddy here and I could see prints in it. So I'm gonna head back. So that was only maybe a minute down the trail, not even. So, and it looks like it goes here to the marsh and around the more wet area, but the ground looks a little soft. It's a little muddy here as well, and I could see prints in here. Definitely deer prints. So this side of the loop seems to be a little better maintained. It's definitely a little cleaner, and there's not as much debris like fronds and just cut branches and twigs on it. It's a much easier path to navigate. So, not that the other one was very hard. And we made it back to the loop, the end of the loop, part of the Marsh Loop Trail. But this is with a loop, so we're back onto the main trail that goes out. And the next landmark I'm looking for is the Bird Pond Trail, which will veer off to the right. And a short time later, I come to the Bird Pond Trail. The marker, unfortunately, has kind of fallen off, so you can't see it when you're walking from the other direction, but that's what it looks like. So it's resting against this tree. So when you're walking back, you don't see it, but I saw the trail going off to the right, so I know where I am. So we're going to continue on the main trail, this is the Marsh Loop Trail, and we'll reach the main trail shortly. Okay, we have come back to the main trail, so we're going to go to the right and head back toward the bridge. And luckily there is a marker here that tells you the bridge is this way. Okay, a little further along, we're back where the Bird Pond Trail comes back to the main trail, and we're going to continue going. After I'm done with this winter hiking spree, I'm probably going to maybe come back here and make some different routes. And, you know, but I like to go to new areas all the time because I want to experience new trails, showcase the trails that are available. And, you know, just if you go over the same trails, if you haven't been here for a while, sometimes it's okay, but if you don't want to come here constantly and just go over the same trails, unless there's a purpose for that, like training or something, you know, but it's good to know where you are sometimes too. You get very familiar with the route and the distances, and you know what's within your capabilities and stuff. Now that I've come to this open area, you can hear the wind a little bit more, but it's definitely not what it was. It's died down a little bit, which is nice, but it's supposed to be picking up later. And I have in fact made it back to the bridge. So this is where I will be crossing over the bridge and the creek, and you leave Cedar Point Preserve and you enter Cedar Point National Park. Definitely not as breezy and as I came over the first time. It's going to pick up a little bit because the opening, but it's definitely a little better. And it's not raining. But and you can see in the very far distance, that's where the road is, Cedar Point Road. And I can see cars every once in a while crossing over. So that's the only major road in this area that goes to Black Hammock Island. So you're going to see traffic on it. And we are now back on the national park land, Cedar Point, and I can see the red blaze, and we're going to take that back to the Blue Trail. So I've made it back to the trail where the red trail joined. There's another trail going further north. But I'm going to make a right to go back to the trailhead where I came on. So we're making our way back, and you can see the marking here. We made it back to where the red and the blue trail meet. I'm debating walking around the blue loop again, but I think I'm going to head back to the car. But I'm going to stay on the blue trail. I'm not going to go to the parking area and walk on the road. So I'm going to stay here. So let me see if I can show you. So this is where I am right now. I'm going to go back this way, but instead of going to this parking area, I'm going to take it a little longer, back to where I started at the start of the trail. Not much difference, just avoid the road. You have to walk on this road and come in. And I've been walking for 1 hour. I'm going to round up to about 1 hour, 40 minutes. And I'm at 4.18 miles. And it's coming up on 11 o'clock. So we're walking back on the Blue Trail toward the trailhead, and I'm coming to the area where it was along the marsh, and there were the little views. There were some of the ruins of I guess a boathouse or pilings, maybe for a dock, and we're making our way back to the trailhead where I started. It's a little longer of a route this way, but keeps me in the woods and off the road. Just thought I'd give you a little view. And here is the trailhead. There's one more blaze by that tree there. And this is in fact the first marker. So I know that we made it back. So this one's going to be done. I'll put the final numbers in the video as I always do, along with a map, a GPS track of my route that I took. But I want to thank you so much for joining me. Till we meet again.